No, that's not the viewpoint to have. Think about a bigger problem than what it is that you're running into and figure out how you would tackle that, because sometimes handling such a small problem just seems insurmountable. Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Neil Winterregg with Matterhorn Business Development, and today I am flying solo, meaning I have nobody else here with me today. Part of that is because I am here to talk about the movie or documentary, so to speak, called Free Solo. Now, today is a little bit of a different video. The reason I'm doing this video was because I'm not typically somebody who considers himself like a motivational speaker. I know that that is part of my job. Part of the reason that people come and hear me talk at a seminar or a lecture is a bit of a motivational, but I also try and give tools and ideas of growing their business and improving their life. And it's not just there to make you walk on hot coals and feel empowered for a few hours before going off to your life and forgetting what happened before that point. So I wanted to talk to you today because I watched a documentary over the weekend called Free Solo. Now, for those of you who don't know, this documentary has actually been out for a little while. It won all sorts of awards and film festivals. It was made by National Geographic, and it follows a climber, a mountain climber named Alex Honnold, as he scales a 3,000-foot mountain with no ropes, no supports, no devices of protection. It is literally just his hands, his feet, and some chalk. And he climbs an entire mountain. Obviously, you know that he makes it to the top of the mountain because he's still alive today and doing interviews, and I ended up watching it. But I was completely blown away by this from a perspective of what a person is able to accomplish when you really set your mind and when you really decide to do something. And it really stuck with me. I thought about it all weekend, and on my flight home from New York this weekend, I actually watched the last 20 minutes of it again, of the actual climb, and it just put into perspective for me a little bit about life and life's problems that we run into. And it's really sad because I meet business owners all the time and people who are convinced that they can't do something, or convinced that, this is the way life is. And, my business location is bad and it's insurmountable. And then here I'm watching a guy, and I hope that we have some pictures that we can show you just to understand this. I'm watching a guy climb a 3,000-foot vertical cliff with literally nothing on. And I'm like, this is proof that when you enjoy what you do, you can accomplish anything that you want. And there is no odds that are insurmountable to you in your business or in life that you can't actually do something about. Because if a person can climb a 3,000-foot mountain, it really just made me look, even at my own life, like, wow, that problem I have really isn't such a big problem after all, because I would much rather focus and handle that problem than even climb 10 feet up this mountain that this guy just climbed 3,000 feet up this mountain. And it really puts into perspective what you are really capable of doing. And it's also telling that this climber, Alex Honnold, who I did some research on since then, I've been kind of enamored with his life and his views. But in the documentary, they're interviewing his mom, and his mom says, they're asking her, like, how can you let your son just climb a mountain with no ropes? And, because this isn't the first time he's done something like this. And she says, he's the most alive on that mountain. And you can't tell somebody not to do what makes them the most alive. You can't take that away from them. And that really kind of was like, that's like a big deal. And I really do believe that as business owners, as people in a day-to-day, we kind of get sucked into inconsequential things that seem insurmountable. And when you really look at a person on their own deciding to climb a mountain with no ropes and no support, and not only that, he enjoyed every single minute of it. When he got to the top of the mountain, it was like his best day he'd ever had. But he wasn't jumping around, crying. His friends were crying because they're sitting there videoing it, thinking he's gonna plummet to his death. But he said something like that was so enjoyable, like delightful, I think is what he said. It was so delightful. And you realize the view that a person has when they're enjoying and getting everything out of life. I think that as businesses, I just meet so many people who just give up. That deadline is in 2 days, and the printer says we're not gonna have it in time, so darn. And it's like, no, that's not the viewpoint to have. think about a bigger problem than what it is that you're running into and figure out how you would tackle that. Because sometimes handling such a small problem just seems insurmountable. So sometimes you need to think on a bigger scale and tackle that problem. I really do recommend you watch this documentary. I obviously don't get anything for recommending a rock climbing documentary from my business development channel, but I really do think that everybody should watch it from a viewpoint of what are you really capable of. And I really do think that you should watch it and give yourself a slight bit of introspection of, what if I tackled this like I was tackling a mountain with no ropes and no support? And that's what really kind of stuck with me. It's just like, don't get stuck on these small things in life. You gotta look way bigger and way outside of the box. And I think that you'll come up with a very interesting point of life. And so, like I said, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not gonna sit here and have these memes, follow your dreams. Everybody has said that stuff. You know this stuff, okay? But the point is you've got to reach out further than you think you're capable of doing. You have to reach out further than you think anybody else is capable of doing, or else you're never gonna push that envelope and nothing's gonna change for you. So those are just my thoughts. This documentary, Free Solo, has just kind of like stuck with me over the weekend and really made me think. I really do think that you should watch it because A, it's probably the single most amazing achievement that I think one person can physically actually do. And two, I think it'll change your viewpoint of how you go about your day to day if you really look at it from a perspective of this problem is not that big. I can actually tackle much, much more. So that is my motivational speech for you today. I'm not a great motivational speaker when I'm just sitting here in front of camera. Come see me on stage somewhere. You'll have a lot more fun with me, I promise. But anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and the other content that we've been bringing you at Matterhorn Business Development. Click that subscribe button down below. Give it a thumbs up. And honestly, I'd love to hear your thoughts about Free Solo and if after you watched it, it made you think about things differently. Because honestly, it really did make me forget that I hadn't been focusing as broadly as I could have been. And I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are too. So I will see you next time on the channel.